Good morning, students. Hope you are keeping fine at home and doing your studies well. Welcome to the history class. Today, I would like to discuss with you about the Turkish invasion. You can take your textbook and open page number 32, Turkish invasion. And remember, here I'd like to remind you rather, who are these Turkish who invaded India? These Turkish were the same Turkish who were brought by the Abbasid dynasty to look after the provinces, to take care of the provinces. They were rather bought as a slave. But in the course of time, they grew in number and power. And so they became the rulers of the caliphates. In the previous lesson we have seen. Now, when they became powerful, they advanced towards India as an invader. So they tried to invade rather a number of times. Especially the three invasions that were unsuccessful, but the third one, which was under the commander known as Muhammad bin Qasim, he was able to invade India and defeat the king of Sindh. Now, how it happened? Why suddenly they came up? We will read through, we'll read in this lesson. So, it is said, in India, after the death of Harshvardhana, in 647 CE, the kingdoms were ruled by the disintegrated ruler, and kingdoms were disintegrated, divided into smaller fragments. And so, who were the rulers then? The feudal lords had become the powerful. Now, what is feudalism? Who are the feudal lords? We have learnt in previous lessons. So, I need not go back again to explain to you who is the feudal lords. Who were the feudal lords? And so I move ahead. And so saying that meanwhile in West and Central Asia, the Abbasid Empire was on the decline. So here in India, rulers were divided, not unified. Empires were divided. And also in Central Asia and West Asia, the Abbasid rule, which was dominant rule, also declined. And who became powerful? Turkish became powerful. And so this became very, very important features, or rather opportunity for the Turkish to rule and invade. So, here I said, Abbasid Empire declined. These same Turkish had earlier served in the army of caliphs. Of the many states formed by the Turkish, two main states formed by the Turkish, the two most important empire, now it is formed, established kingdom, were the Ghazni and Ghor. These were the Turkish empire. Turkish Empire, Ghazni Empire and Ghor Empire in the 7th century. And so they arrived at the coastal region of India, and soon the wealth of India attracted them. So they came to India not to capture India and rule. In fact, they came to take the wealth of India. That was their intention, to plunder and take the wealth of India. And so they came to invade India, but they failed. They failed. 3 times they tried. The third time, what happened was that the king of Ceylon sent the gift to the king of Hejaz, and on the way, the pirates, the sea robbers, attacked and plundered the ship of Ceylon. And then later, king of Hejaz wanted the compensation from Sindh, the king of Sindh, which king of Hejaz was denied. King of Hejaz was denied, and in the retaliation or in reaction to that, king of Hejaz sent the people to attack Sindh. Attack Sindh. And here the leader is Muhammad bin Qasim, who defeated the king of Sindh, and that became the entry point, entry gate to India. So after the victory, he started conquering other areas, and the whole of Sindh came under the Arabs' authority. So this became under the Arabs. Sindh became under the Arabs' authority. But the Arabs failed to extend their rule beyond Sindh and Multan, because the resistance from the Rajputs were very strong. Rajputs were very strong in India. Very, very strong. The most significant impact of the Arab invasions of Sindh was advent of Islam. Underline that. Because of the defeat of the king of Sindh, this became easy for the Islam people to come to India. And so this was the first time Islam came to India came to North India. In South already had reached by 10th century. The Turk had become powerful enough to wield power over Central and Southeast Asia. They also conquered Persia. In India, the infighting among the Rajputs became the opportunity for the Arabs to fight again. So we have also told that the Ghaznavid and Ghor Empire were the strong Turkish empire among all. So now, Muhammad of Ghazni, the Turkish invader, entered India through the mountain passes in northwest. Muhammad Ghazni was the first to carry out. Mahmud of Ghazni was the first one to carry out his invasion. Turkish soldiers took over a rule over. So he was one of the most outstanding Turkish soldiers and took over as the ruler of Ghazni in 971. He established a huge empire. To maintain it, he needed wealth. And so he was attracted towards India's fabulous wealth. He raided India for first time in 1000 CE. And after that, it is believed that he invaded India 17 times. In 1001 CE, he attacked Punjab and some important cities of Ujjain, Gwalior, Kalinga, Kanaus and Delhi. He had also plundered North Indian temples. Now, somebody will ask me why he attacked temples. In today's context, they would immediately switch over to the Hindu-Muslim division. Hindu-Muslim differentiate. Because he was Hindu, he attacked temple. No, my dears, it was not that because he was Muslim, so he attacked the Hindu temples. No, he attacked the Hindu temples because of the wealth. Wealth and the properties were deposited in the temples. The temples were the main place where he could concentrate, he could focus his attack. And so he attacked the North Indian temples like Mathura and Kanauj. He also attacked and raided rich cities and temples, towns like Nagarkot, Multan, Alwar, Taneshwar, Mathura, and Somnath. The invasion of Somnath temple in Gujarat in 1025 yielded him immense wealth. How much? 6.5 tons of gold and sandalwood gateway were taken away by him. Apart from India, he also carried an expedition to Lahore, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Other side of Muhammad Ghazni's personality was he was love of nature, love of learnings, patron of art and architecture. He built in his capital city Ghazni, he built many mosques, libraries, museums, and universities. Great scholars like Al-Biruni and Firdausi were patronized by him. So, who wrote the Shahnameh surely? Before his death, when he died in 1030 CE. He had extended his empire to Punjab. After Muhammad's death, his successors were not able to hold on to Ghaznavid empire and lost to Ghor. This is what today's discussions. You can read the lessons, and if you have any clarification to make,